But still the clever north wind was not satisfied. It spoke to Vianne of towns yet to be visited, friends in need yet to be discovered, battles yet to be fought. Hello my lovelies. In today's video I'm going to be sharing how I've put together a vintage inspired capsule wardrobe using one of my favourite films as inspiration. Chocolat is the story of Vianne, a single mother of South American heritage who moves to a sleepy French town to open a chocolaterie. Her wardrobe throughout echoes her heritage and her free spirit. Set in the late 50s with a very 50s silhouette, Vianne's wardrobe is made up of very textural and earthy colours. Lots of ochres, terracottas and fiery reds that represent her passionate nature, offset with dusky, sage, light blues. Vianne only wears skirts really in this film, and she seems to favour the circle skirt or half circle skirt silhouette. You could look for true vintage patterns online, or you could draft your own circle skirt or half circle skirt. There's a tutorial on the journal piece on my website that accompanies this video, and I also have a full circle skirt sewing guide that you can buy in my shop if you want to draft your own. These lovely plaids are just images from Pinterest that I found, but they would make a lovely spring-summer skirt. I found these gorgeous eye-cap prints in a local fabric shop, Merchant and Mills, which is in Rye, the little town just along from me on the coast. They would make absolutely beautiful half circle skirts and really reflect the character, the bohemian nature of this character who's travelled around the world and picked up pieces along the way. Vianne also wears a pencil skirt. Her silhouette is actually very similar to the silhouette of Marilyn Monroe. You could look for true vintage patterns or have a look at my tutorial that I did about making a Dita Von Teese style wiggle skirt a couple of weeks ago, which I've linked below. This skirt and blouse were made in a very deep navy, the darkest colours that she wears. Another staple item that you'll need is a 1950s style blouse, one with quite a winged collar. Again, you could look for true vintage patterns online or try this Simplicity 8445 Repro pattern. The collar is a little bit pointy, so you might want to change that. You could also look in thrift or charity shops to find blouses that are also more of a 40s silhouette. As you know, I really love the 8447 Simplicity for the blouse, which I've adapted in videos on this channel, and make them in a range of colours that suit your colour palette. In this film, she wears navies and ochres or peaches primarily. Next up is this fabulous wrap top that Vianne wears to Armand's party in a gorgeous peachy ochre colour. I don't have any wrap tops in my wardrobe, but I think I'm going to have to make some. It's such a good idea. I found the Butterick B6285 patterns by Gertie and also a PDF download pattern of the Advanced 7701. I haven't tried either of these patterns, but the downloadable one actually has the little shawl collar. And here we have possibly my favourite item of clothing from the film. It's the dress, Vianne's dress that she wears so beautifully throughout. It's made in some kind of burgundy brocade fabric, a very 50s wiggle dress. I didn't really find any specific patterns. You could look for true vintage, and I know that Gertie has some really lovely wiggle dress patterns in her books and on Charmed Patterns. I think I'm going to draft my own version of this using my bodice block and pencil skirt that I've drafted to my measurements, because you just need a dress like this in your life, don't you? And here is my drawing of Myrtle May wearing Vianne's dress. I'll link my videos on capsule wardrobes and how I go about developing them, and also the journal pieces that accompany down below if you want to read more about vintage inspired capsule wardrobes and how I go about making them. A capsule wardrobe is made up of core pieces, which I call hero pieces, but also wild cards, which are one-off, heirloom, vintage, thrifted finds that add that extra touch to your outfits. In this film, Vianne wears this jerkin or vest that looks like it's hand embroidered with blanket stitches around the edges. I think it's a great idea for keeping you warmer, and she also has this lovely paisley shawl. You could look out for something like this in charity shops, particularly the shawl, or on Etsy or eBay. I'm sure you'd come across something that would work with your colour palette. I seem to find more Russian inspired ones in my local charity shops, and I pick them up when I see them. And I'm going to have to draft a pattern for some kind of gilet, would you call it? If you know the answer to what this item of clothing is called, do pop it in the comments below. Vianne also wears some very pretty aprons. Making chocolate is a messy business after all. You could try the Simplicity 1221, or you could try the Butterick 6467, and if you have some pretty vintage fabric, you could try making it in that. I'm absolutely in love and inspired by Vianne's cardigans in this film, in lovely shades of dusky blue and sage, and also a deeper vintage coral shade. I'm going to be knitting something inspired by her, using possibly a vintage pattern from this Vogue knitting book that my lovely friend Hannah bought for me. But I know that Poison Girls has some amazing patterns as well. This very traditional cardigan would be perfect, and I think a dusky blue would be just what I need in my vintage inspired wardrobe. And then there are some other lovely patterns in here, all of them very Vianne, very 1950s. This one's very pretty with the lattice work and beadwork on the front. And here's my favourite cardigan that I've drawn that has this interesting button feature that goes up all the way around the neck. And the lovely lady on the front of Vogue Knitting is in a very Vianne outfit with the wing-tipped blouse and wiggle skirt and corally colour hand knitted cardigan. I basically want to make everything. I hope you've enjoyed this little look at how to create a capsule wardrobe, vintage inspired capsule wardrobe based off of a film. If you haven't seen Chocolat, do give it a look. You will probably want to make every single outfit in the film, and I'm thinking that I seriously need to make quite a few of Vianne's outfits. So maybe there'll be a video at some point much later in the year. If you've enjoyed this and you love all things vintage inspired sewing, DIY style, then do give this channel a subscribe. I'm always sewing and I love to share my sewing journey with you. It's really lovely to have you along. Like, share with your friends, click the bell to be notified when a video comes up. Usually they're every Thursday. And have a fabulous week, and I'll see you soon. Take care, my lovelies. Bye.